Hi everyone, I'm Gaurav Verma, a computer science PhD student at Georgia Tech. I'll be presenting our work on nonlinear consumption of videos using sequence of personalized multimodal fragments. My co-authors on this work are Trikay Nalamada, Keerti Harpavat, Pranav Goel, Aman Mishra, and Balaji Vasan Srinivasan. This work was done when all the authors were affiliated with Adobe Research in India. We start by noting that formats like video and audio are linear in nature. What we mean by linear is that the viewing time for a video is in proportion to the duration of the video, and they can only be consumed in their original order. The problems that arise due to this non-linear consumption of videos exacerbate as videos become longer in duration. Given all this, in this work we ask the question, can we overcome the shortcomings of this linear viewing experience? And as a possible solution, we present a method to generate sequence of personalized multimodal fragments. We term this method as NoVoExp, which is short for nonlinear video consumption experience. Let's try to understand why such a method that enables nonlinear consumption is desirable. First of all, we want to consume videos in a targeted manner. And for that, it would be helpful to provide a quick overview of the content that is covered in the video without watching it in its entirety. For instance, let's say we have this video that talks about the daily life in Palermo that is around 10 minutes long. Our method outputs a sequence of multimodal fragments that the viewer can skim through to get a sense of the overall narrative of the video. Second, the viewer can also use this sequence of multimodal fragments to quickly navigate to the specific parts of the video that they are interested in. Let's say I'm interested in the bit about coffee and cake, so I can simply click on the fourth fragment in this sequence and the video will start playing from there. For the earlier part, I can just look at the earlier fragments in the sequence to get a quick overview of what was covered in the part that I'm skipping. And lastly, not all viewers are interested in watching the same content. For this video, some viewers may prefer to have multimodal fragments that highlight the jolly and fun-loving part of the video, while other viewers may want the multimodal fragments to highlight sentimental bits in the video. To that end, our method also takes the segment-level viewer preference into account while generating the sequence of multimodal fragments. Here on the screen, you see the output for a jolly and fun-loving viewer. And here you see the output for a viewer who prefers to watch thoughtful and compassionate content. Now, before moving on to our proposed method, I'll quickly mention some of the related work that has been done in industry and academia. There are platforms like YouTube that allow the publishers to provide manual annotations so that viewers can navigate through the video quickly. But since this is manual, it's not really scalable. Video provides automated annotations, but they are in a textual format and only work well for a certain type of videos. There has been prior research in summarization and multimodal representation learning, as well as visual storytelling that can be used to generate a personalized sequence of multimodal fragments, but each of them individually miss out on some or the other aspects that are crucial for our purposes. For a detailed discussion of the prior work, please refer to the paper. I will now discuss our proposed approach, NoVoExp. The approach comprises of 4 major steps. We will discuss all of them in the next few minutes. To help understand these steps, I'll use a running example, an approximately 10-minute long video describing the daily life in Palermo. The first step is to extract out key visual and auditory information from the video. For visual part, we identify the keyframes in the video and store them in a temporally ordered manner. For auditory part, we use a text-to-speech API to obtain the timestamped transcript of the audio. Now, the granularity at which the transcripts are timestamped and the granularity of the timestamps for keyframes can be different. So we create contiguous multimodal clusters by combining transcripts and related keyframes together. These clusters are contiguous because our method ensures that each of them discusses parts that are coherent together. You can think of these multimodal clusters as parts that talk about one separate unit in the video. But what we have right now is a long transcript and multiple images in a cluster. We need to find a concise piece of text and a single image that is representative of this cluster. Accordingly, the next part is focused on selecting a representative multimodal fragment for each cluster. This is where we bring in the preference of the viewer into account. Using state-of-the-art representation learning approaches, we find the sentences and images that represent that cluster while highlighting aspects that viewers are most interested in. They could be looking for content that is either compassionate or fun or even adventurous. Once we have selected an image and sentence, we put them together to give us one multimodal fragment for each cluster. In the last step, we again take the viewer preference into account to generate a consumption sequence that prioritizes quicker consumption of segments that the viewer would be interested in, and at the same time ensures that we respect the original narrative in the video to ensure coherence in the final sequence. You must be wondering how we define user preferences and how do we infer attributes that align with these preferences from the extracted images and text. Based on an existing annotated dataset called the PITS ads dataset, we train a machine learning model to identify the sentiments that are evoked by the frames in a video. Then we combine certain sentiments to lie in three broad preference categories. Jolly and fun-loving viewers prefer content that is amusing and cheerful. Adventurous viewers prefer content that shows a lot of activity and has thrilling moments. Thoughtful and compassionate viewers prefer content that covers emotions like empathy and love. This figure provides a complete picture of our methodology. Now we'll discuss the evaluation of our proposed method and how it compares to trivial adaptations of existing methods. For evaluation, we constructed a dataset by collecting videos from YouTube that belong to different categories, specifically entertainment, lectures, and tutorials. These three categories present a lot of variation in content and allow for robust evaluation. For example, entertainment videos involve a lot of scene transitions, whereas lectures and tutorials do not. We chose the videos to have sufficient variation in their duration as well. Some videos were short, others were medium, and long in duration. Our evaluation comprises of two parts. In the first part, we conduct automated evaluation using key metrics, and in the second part, we conduct a human survey using Amazon Mechanical Turk. Let's discuss the automated evaluation first. Our proposed method gives a sequence of multimodal fragments as output for each input video. We want the images and text in these fragments to have relevance with the original video. Also, we want them to cater to the target viewer's preference as well. We also want to assess if the multimodal fragments can cover all key parts of the video. We want the multimodal fragments to be diverse and not redundant. As last 2 points, we want the image and text within a single multimodal fragment to be relevant to each other and the text to be grammatically correct and coherent. Here are the results for the entertainment category of videos. As we can observe, our proposed method performs the best for many of the metrics that we just discussed. Even though the proposed model is not the best in terms of certain metrics like relevance, NoVoExp is the only model that is able to strike a reasonable balance across all the metrics. Another interesting observation here is that even if we change the duration of the video, the trends largely remain the same. Similar trends are observed for the videos that belong to the lectures and tutorials categories. The last part of the evaluation was to first show the original videos and the generated multimodal fragments to human annotators separately and ask them to write a description for the content that is covered in them. Once we had the description written from the annotators, we could quantify how similar they are. After this, we asked the annotators to watch the video and the fragments together and answer subjective questions related to their coherence, diversity, and alignment with the target preference. For all video types across all duration categories, we found that the descriptions that annotators provided by just looking at the sequence of multimodal fragments were quite similar to the descriptions that they gave for the video. Also, annotators provided high scores for relevance, reference alignment, coverage, diversity, and coherence. To sum up the presentation, we proposed a method called NoVoExp that uses state-of-the-art computer vision and NLP techniques to enable efficient consumption of linear media, specifically videos. Based on empirical and subjective evaluation, we show that NoVoExp is effective in generating sequence of multimodal fragments that can enable a personalized and quicker consumption of videos. Thank you for your time and listening. If you have any questions or comments about the work, please feel free to reach out to me or Balaji.